Instagram Reels is a very interesting place. You get stuck there for about an hour, and you either spend that hour spamming your friend with honestly really funny reels, because Instagram just has some funny shit on there, there's no denying that, or you just spend that hour just scrolling through some of the saddest stuff you'll ever see, and maybe you end up down a rabbit hole like what happened to me. And the other night, I came across probably one of the saddest stories I have ever seen in my life. Now, the victim of this loneliness and mental health problem goes by the name of Christian Montenegro. There's a chance you've heard this name before, because this guy has been fucking everywhere on the internet, because he has a whole family full of dolls. And I know some people off the rip might chuckle at that and think, gosh, how fucking strange, what a loser. But in all honesty, it's just quite sad, actually. I mean, if you go on his Instagram, he's got about 16,000 followers. He's got TikTok and other platforms as well, but he mainly posts his stuff on Instagram, and he still consistently posts stuff, you know, updating everyone on his wife and whatnot, which is a doll. And he also runs a Facebook page for his wife as well, where she will consistently post stuff of him. And you might have picked up on the fact that I'd said wife there. Yes, this guy has actually officially married this doll. It is written in the law, and in fairness, he's very happy with her. I mean, you can see some pictures from their wedding day right now. It does look a little bit creepy. I mean, maybe fresh out of a creepypasta kind of edgy shit that you'd find on Reddit. But this whole problem stems from a previous relationship that he had. In an interview, he stated that his last relationship ended fucking horribly, and his ex-girlfriend ended up leaving him for someone else. I mean, he's even got kids with the doll as well. And this isn't an actual doll, by the way. It's not one of those like sex robot things, you know, with a fleshlight and an asshole. He's made this doll completely from scratch. It's made from cloth, cotton, other materials as well, and it can stand up. It's really quite fascinating, the amount of effort that he's put into it. I mean, in my opinion, I think the face could use a little bit of work, but other than that, the detail is odd. It's really quite interesting. If you go on his Instagram, you can actually find like a highlight section. If you don't have Instagram, you just get like stories and shit. You put a picture up and you can kind of save it to your profile and people can go back to it. And he's got one of those on his pages dedicated to him having a baby with this doll. And I know for some people, you might feel extremely uncomfortable seeing this, but this guy doesn't want to harm a soul. If anything, he's been so hurt by someone else that he just wants to be away from everyone else. And this is the life that he wants to live. He's not a dangerous individual. He's not going to go out there murdering people. This is just his way of socializing and his way of actually dealing with the emotions that he's dealt with. But anyway, I don't really think it's too easy to describe the amount of depth this guy goes into. So I'm just going to show a clip now of when his wife was giving birth. And this gives you a rough idea of how advanced his system actually is.
Buenos días, una transmisión que estamos haciendo es el hospital de
I mean, he even went as far as to actually make a mannequin of the doctor, and he's really roleplayed that entire thing out. And it's just him there. But in his head, the doll has an actual conscious. He's actually interacting with these dolls. And he's actually said before that if it wasn't for the dolls, he would be more alone than anything else on the planet. And I know this might sound a little bit controversial, but I just think we should just let this guy do what he's doing. I understand he definitely needs people around him. He needs some family members to really step up and sort their shit out, because there's no world where a motherfucker should feel so lonely that they have to make dolls of people. But on a general level, he seems really quite happy with this doll, and he's not harming anyone. I get it, it's a little bit strange, but in most scenarios, it's just due to the fact that they just don't want to bother with human interactions anymore. They just can't do it. The pain that they've had from the past is just too much for them to actually get into it. At least with a doll, there's no fear of rejection. You know, this doll can't reject him. It doesn't, it's not there, it doesn't exist. It's not an actual thing. It can't say no to him. And so as long as he shows it love, he's gonna feel love back from it. But as I was saying earlier, this guy still posts stuff on his Instagram, and I want to show you guys a clip from one of his most recent stories. It is a little bit creepy, so if you are the kind of person that has stuff playing on their mind, or maybe it's late at night, I would skip through this unless you want to go balls deep into this situation. Anyway, here's the clip. I know that looks very creepy, especially if you're viewing it from your own perspective, but the smile on that guy's face is genuine. It's actually real. And I know you may think this a little bit sad that that's making him happy, but at the end of the day, That's all he needs. He doesn't need anything else. He's not going around hurting people and hurting himself. And in most scenarios, therapists actually support these actions because it gives their patients an outlet to other people. I mean, in scenarios like patients like this guy, they have no one. And in most circumstances, they've been reported by just a member of the public or a neighbor or something like that, a little bit concerned about them. And maybe someone's done a welfare check on them and realized that, fuck, this guy's life is not okay. So if someone like Christian Montenegro is able to kind of create that outlet for him and actually make himself happy and give him a way to actually express the way that he actually is, then so be it. Who gives a shit? But yeah, man, when I came across this story, it really touched me in a different way. Wow, that sounds fucking terrible, but it made me realize how lucky the average person is to just have a family, have a couple friends, actually have people to interact with, because there are people like this exist that have fucking no one. And the case of this guy is just devastating. He went from having the love of his life to losing her to someone else, and now this is the scenario that he's stuck in because his brain can't get over what's happened. Yeah, I'm sorry for cutting the onions. I know some of you are probably a little bit teary-eyed right now, so don't worry, okay? I know you're not crying. Maybe your eyeballs are just sweating a little bit. But yeah, at the end of the day, this guy's happy. He's living the life that he wants to live now, and I just had to talk about it because I was so fascinated by it. I knew people like this sort of existed, but I didn't know it was to this level. This was just bananas to me. It really blew my mind. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.